Product placement, odds, shark, dome in the middle. All right, seat up. Listen, can we just get 1,000 people to subscribe to this thing so that I can go back to using the iPad mini and not have to deal with all these wires? Told myself I was not going to start off today complaining. Now I feel too high, too low. It feels like I'm not doing anything. All right. I am in a great mood today. Wonderful mood. I want to bet every single game. I got 8 picks for today, and I feel like I reeled it in for these 8 picks. I feel like it. Let's make sure, first off, that we can even see and hear one another. Pass out flyers to subscribe on the strip. All right, welcome to the stream. Great to have you with us today. If Cal, that game hasn't kicked off yet. Oh my God, 9. We're gonna go 9 picks then. I am picking that game. Let me go ahead and bring that spread up right now. We'll just lead with a pick. Damn, let me get this up. That's show first. We're gonna lead with a pick. Rather than wait till the end, let me just get an updated line. College football kicks off in about 28 minutes. Cal minus 3.5 at UCLA. Cal, put it on the board. Put it on the board. Yes. UCLA stinks. Number 1. This game, by the way, originally, I'll get to the recap of how we did Thursday. Originally, we had Cal this weekend as one of our picks, but they're supposed to play Arizona State. COVID ravaged Arizona State. It also ravaged UCLA's opponent. And then UCLA and Cal were like, let's just get together and play a game. So they're playing today, 28 minutes. We're starting with that. Cal's the bet minus 3.5. I wanted to bet him last week against Washington. COVID shut that game down. I wanted to bet him against Arizona State this week. COVID shut that game down. For some reason, my brain misfired, and I was under the impression that this game would have started by the time we were doing the chat. So I didn't include it. We're including it. We're playing Cal. Justin Wilcox, get familiar with that name. Cal's head coach. He's legit. He's going to get a big gig at some point if he wants it. He showed up at Cal and took over for Sonny Dykes. I believe in the 3 years he's been there, they went 5-7, 7-6, 8-5. If I'm wrong at all, I'm wrong by a little bit. The point is that he got better. This team got better every year under him. They won a bowl game last year, just their second bowl win since 2008, and they beat Stanford last year. They hadn't beaten Stanford in like a decade. So Wilcox has got this team humming, and 18 starters are back. 10 on offense, including the quarterback Chase Garbers. And defensively, they're a pretty solid squad because he's a defensive-minded head coach. So right out of the gate, Cal, if you want, you can tell me in the chat. I'll wait while you fire those bets. I got no problem. I'm in such a great mood today. Such a great mood today. I got no problem. I was up at 3 a.m. to do Daily Wager on the strip, and I'm still in a great mood. Still in a great mood. I will wait. I'm wearing the shirt. The flower shirt's back. Why? We're hot. To quote my friend Joe Tessitore, get hot. Cold streak ended in a big fucking way. And I'm going to go ahead and use that word there because it needs to be done. A big fucking way on Thursday night. We handed out 7 bets. This is the recap. 7 bets. We only scored 6 because Cal ASU off the board. Of the 6, the only loser was the Derrick Henry under rushing prop. I continue to lose that. I think I've bet that 10 times in the last 2 years. I've always bet the under. I've lost every single time. I don't know why I keep doing it. I even said Thursday. Some of you probably remember that I always lose that bet. And then I bet it and I lost it. That's the handicap. All the bullshit I was talking about on Thursday as to why that wouldn't happen, that was all smoke and mirrors. The reality was that the handicap is that every time I bet the under on him, I lose. So that's the cap moving forward. Winners. There were a lot of them. We had the Colts. Boom. Darius Leonard over 7.5 tackles. Boom. Boise State, Colorado State over. Boom. 3 kick blocks returned for touchdowns. Talk about a horseshoe up the rear end game that was. Never in doubt, rocking chair winner. West Virginia, 3rd cash in a row for us. West Virginia has been awesome. I think I'm just This might be anyone who remembers me from like 3 years ago or 4 years ago when I was blindly betting Houston every week because of Tom Herman. And then anyone, and I doubt anyone in this feed remembers this because I wasn't doing streams at this point. This is even before I was on air. This is like 2011 when I was just blindly betting Oregon and Baylor like every single week here in Vegas. First halves, just blindly betting all of it. That's what West Virginia might be for me the rest of the way out. I might just blindly bet them every week. I love that football team. I love a college team that actually plays defense. They wrap up and they tackle. They're awesome. A lot of unders with them too, but I haven't been betting those. So we went with that. And then Terrence Crawford last night. If you watch the fight for free on ESPN, like I told you to do, Crawford under 9.5 rounds. Talking to my friend Joe Tessitore. You can hear me say that a lot because I love Tess, trying to make myself sound bigger than I really am. Tess tried to tell me, not sure. Thought the fight could go a little bit longer. Tess is the man when it comes to boxing. So he shook me up a little bit, but I stuck with my convictions, despite the fact that I was ice cold. Ice cold. What did we talk about Thursday? I was like 9-35 over the last 2 weeks. That shit's done. So 5 wins, still disaster. 77 wins, 93 defeats. I'm going to get this thing back to 500 by the Super Bowl. Or I'm going to bet 10,000 props in the Super Bowl. But one way or another, that ship's getting turned around or it's sinking to the bottom of the fucking ocean. One other bet, all this bravado, I should probably taper it down a little bit. I did have Bubba Watson on Monday to finish in the top 20. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. That one's pending. Pending loser, but pending nonetheless. That will be scored when it becomes final, and that'll be sometime later today. I don't have any Masters stuff for you today. I'm going to be watching it. I might fire on a couple things, but this is football specifically. Anyone in the chat who has questions on games, I saw someone came flying in there with a question on the Washington game. I'm not playing that game, but I have thoughts. So what we'll do is we will get to all the games I'm not betting at the end. I'll take all your questions if you want to hang around, and I'll give you my notes on these games. Couple things to consider right out of the gate. We're back later. We got 5 games in the morning and 6 in the afternoon. So remember, the next stream is at the conclusion of the afternoon games, the last afternoon game. It could be right up against Sunday Night Football if one of these bitches goes overtime, and every other week it seems like one of them does. So be ready. We'll launch. The thing lives on as a video, so you can start it anytime anyway. But that's the next time we're streaming. And it's Baltimore, New England. I've got thoughts. I've definitely got thoughts on that game in case you were curious. So that will be the next stream. Then Monday, 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific. Thursday, 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific. Those are the next 2 streams. All right, so we promoted that. Interesting note I figured I'd share. Road teams are having a great year. Great year. Road teams have scored more points than home teams. Road teams have won more games than home teams. Road teams have covered more spreads than road teams. Just something to keep in mind as I like several road teams today. Weather. You have to concern yourself with 3 games. Keep this in mind. Fantasy applies as well. Wind very high in 3 games. 25 mile an hour, Green Bay, Jacksonville. 23 mile an hour, Cleveland, Houston. 21 mile an hour, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. Totals have all seen significant movement. Green Bay, Jacksonville has gone from 54.5 down to 47.5. Cleveland, Houston has gone from 55 to 45. It's dropped 10 points. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati has gone from 49 to 45.5. Note on this. Preston Johnson, who I work with on Daily Wager. 2 weeks ago, we had these win games as well. I think there were 5 of them. He had a great note. If you bet the win games, the unders, before the movement, you went 4-1. If after all the movement had taken place on game day, you just blindly bet the overs on the win games, you went 4-1 as well. The point is the value's long gone. You don't bet the under on these at this point. I feel like I got a sneeze coming on. Bear with me, please. Come on, we got to get this. Oh, no! It's going to be with me all day. All right, shake that off. Point is, you can't bet the unders on these now. There's no value there. You can bet the over if you want. I'm not doing the over on any of those. I'm not messing with that stuff. Just figured I'd pass that note along. For someone who asked the question about the road teams and said, is that because there's no fans? Yes, I believe that has a lot to do with it, to be completely honest with you. You go to an opposing stadium, you don't have to worry about having problems communicating at the line of scrimmage. It's easy to talk to guys. So I think that has a big role in that. Why not a Maction stream? It's like, what am I going to do? I'm going to stream all day. Eventually, I'm just going to be walking around just streaming my entire life. I can't stream my entire life. I say a lot of things I probably shouldn't say to get me in trouble. I'm not looking to get canceled, so I can't stream too much. Maybe we'll get one Maction stream. Bowl season, I'll tell you, I got a lot of stuff going on, and we'll probably do something on Thanksgiving as well. I'll be nice and tuned up with some wine. Pitch the bridge of your nose to make a sneeze go away. Oh, thank you. I don't want the sneeze to go away, though. I want to get the sneeze out. It feels much better. All right, so that's that. Injuries. We got the weather. Injuries. David Montgomery for the Bears is out Monday night. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. Chris Carson and Carlos Hyde, both out for the Seahawks. Seahawks are also missing both starting cornerbacks and their starting center. More on that. I got thoughts on that game. Joe Mixon's out for the Bengals. Christian McCaffrey's out for the Panthers. Kenny Golladay out again for the Lions. Kyle Allen, quarterback, out for the for Washington football team. Close one. Means Alex Smith's going to start. Mike Lombardi had a great line on Alex Smith. This was when he made that first appearance with the Rams. Ready to play. I had Washington last week. He was terrible. He threw interceptions on each of the last 2 drives where they could have gone down and beat the Giants. Love Smith's comeback story. I'm not knocking the man or the persistence or the injury. We have to make those things clear in the year 2020 or people will go apeshit. But he's not a good quarterback. That also, if we're going to be gambling, we have to be real about this stuff like this. Gardner Minshew's out for the Jaguars. Justin Jackson, Joey Bosa for the Chargers. Devontae Freeman for the Giants. David Johnson. What a great trade that was. He's out for Houston. Deebo Samuel for the 49ers. Tevin Coleman and Raheem Mostert for the 49ers as well. Moving through Schefter's Twitter feed, because it's not like I'm doing this research on my own. Matt Breida out for the Dolphins. Terrible. I remember with the Niners. The guy's basically just a track guy. He's constantly pulling muscles. Kenyon Drake has a good chance to play against the Bills today. Thank you, Schefter. Appreciate the information. Line moves before we get to some picks. Key line moves. The look ahead for the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Cincinnati Bengals. Pittsburgh was -10, but then they went out and they kind of laid an egg against the Cowboys. That's now down to 6.5. That's a big note because it's not just a big move. That game was sitting on 7 for a while. The Bengal money is showing up this morning, and that ain't public money. That's sharp money. So be careful. Maybe the Steelers in a tease. If you're going to play Cincinnati, though, you had to get 7. You can't play it at 6.5. You're just jumping in at the absolute worst spot. Detroit was a 4-point favorite over Washington. That's down to 2.5. Wow, that just moved in the last few minutes. So you've got a lot of Washington money coming in. Ugh, I'm not getting involved in that. No more Alex Smith. Cleveland was a 2.5-point favorite over Houston. That is now up to 4. Green Bay holding strong at 13.5 against Jacksonville. Philly was a 3.5-point favorite against the Giants. That's up to 4.5. I see 5 at some spots. That game's going to be a train wreck. There's no other way to play that game outside of train wreck football. You think you're going to get something beautiful, artistic, elegant, anything in that regard with Eagles-Giants, you're picking the wrong game. That game's going to be a train wreck. Tampa Bay was 6 on the look ahead at Carolina, still 6. More coming up on that game. The Raiders were 4 on the look ahead hosting Denver. That's 3.5, a little bit of Denver money. That should be an interesting game. That game I feel is going to get lost in the shuffle. 6 afternoon games, some big games in that stretch. I got to say, I'm sorry, Raiders, Denver. You're probably going to get lost in the shuffle. Surprisingly, I think that could be a pretty good game. Arizona was a 2.5-point favorite over Buffalo. They're still, no, look at that. That just moved. So they got up to 3. Then 20 minutes ago when I was writing up the final notes, it was down at 2.5. Now it's back up to 3. So more Arizona money. That should be a good game as well. The Rams were laying 2 to the Seahawks on the look ahead. That is now 2.5. A little bit of juice on the 2.5 as well. The Saints were 6.5 on the look ahead against the Niners. That's up to 10 or 9.5, depending on where you look. Remember, the Saints just hammered the Buccaneers on Sunday Night Football in front of the entire world. The Niners were humiliated on a Thursday night in front of the entire world by the Packers. Naturally, that line was going to move. Thoughts on that game coming up as well. Baltimore is tonight. I don't need to talk about that now. We'll talk about that later. Miami was a 1.5-point favorite over the Chargers. That is now up to Miami -2. That just had a move. At one point, it was Miami -3, and it came all the way down to as low as Miami -1. Now it's back up to Miami -2. All right, let's get to some picks because that's why everyone's here, and then we'll take some questions on the games I'm not talking about. I have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, it's 9 picks now because I already said Cal. Already said that. All right, so we know Cal -3.5. If you're just joining now, game starts in 14 minutes. We are playing the Golden Bears. Love Justin Wilcox. All right. Game number 1, I'm laying the 6 with Tampa at Carolina. It's going to be a public play. You can call it a square play if you like. I don't care. Square plays don't lose 100% of the time. I do not like this is a bet on Tampa. I like them to throttle Carolina. Now, there's one concern. I saw someone bring it up in the chat. There was an issue with the flight yesterday for Tampa. They were supposed to leave in the afternoon and arrive in Charlotte at like 4 o'clock. They got stuck on the tarmac for 4 or 5 hours. They didn't get in until a little after 11 p.m. local time. So all that, out of rhythm, maybe you don't get as much sleep. It's something to keep in mind for the game today. It was my favorite bet all week. It's not my favorite bet anymore because of that, but I still very much like it. I think Tampa in a teaser is an excellent play. I think straight, though, is exactly what I'm going to be doing as well. Few things to note here. Brady in his career, this would be Tom Brady, not Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator of the Panthers. Tom Brady's 19-6 against the spread in his career off a double-digit loss. Tampa was humiliated on Sunday night by the Saints. What do you think they spent the week doing? It's not a loser organization with a loser quarterback where no one cared and they just went out and partied. Like Brady was sending these Instagram inspirational messages to everybody all week. You know he's pissed. You know the team's pissed. They're coming for blood. And in the 2 previous losses they had this year, they came back to win the next week by 14 and by 28. So it's not like they eke it out, and it's not like they suffer losing streaks. Maybe today's different. But I think the key to this game is the pressure. Brady this year in 3 losses has been sacked 9 times in the, and I got notes. I thought I could get through this whole game without looking at the notes. 9 sacks in 3 losses. In 6 wins, he's only gone down 2 times. Think about that. In 6 wins, he's been sacked 2 times. In 3 losses, he's been sacked 9 times. Guess where Carolina ranks in terms of sacks? 30th. They're one of the worst pressure units in the NFL. Brady's got Godwin, Evans, Antonio Brown, Gronk. Everybody's healthy. Everybody. Nothing else. That's the notes. Damn, I was so close. I had that one damn note. So Buccaneers -6 is play number 1. Play number 2, buckle up because there are 4 plays in the same game. Make sure I get through all these. Rams Seahawks. This is my favorite game on the board. I'm playing the Rams. That's pick 2. Now there are picks within here that I will be talking about as we go along, but I got 4 picks on this game. I'm just going to read them all off now, and then I'll give you the big assessment. Rams -2.5. Rams team total over 28.5 points. This game going over 54.5 points. And Robert Woods, Rams wide receiver, over 65.5 receiving yards. Shout out Mike Clay, Tyler Fulgham, and pretty much everyone else I work with on Daily Wager who liked that one. I'm adding that one as well. So 4 plays in the same game. I see the yuck down there. We'll talk tonight, see what yuck is. Rams -2.5. Rams over 28.5 total points. Rams Seahawks over 54.5 total points. Robert Woods over 65.5 receiving yards. Those are the 4 plays in this game. So let's work our way through this. The Rams, and most notably Sean McVay, the offensive mastermind, have had 2 weeks to get ready for this team. Division rival, they got to win this game. 2 weeks they've had to prepare for a defense that ranks dead last in the NFL in total defense, 30th in scoring defense, and will be missing their top 2 starting cornerbacks. I'm going to let that sit there for a second. It is a horrible defense. And no, not everyone is on the Rams. That is incorrect. I'm looking right now, and I see 52% on Seattle, 48% on the Rams. Not everybody on the Rams today. Not true. I hate the Seahawks, but they're coming for this one. See, again, no. The Seahawks have a great quarterback. They are not a great team. That's the key distinction that's going to separate the people who bet this game. The Seahawks are not a great team. They have a great quarterback. They have an awful defense, an absolutely awful defense. I don't care what metric you could possibly find anywhere to tell me that this defense is okay or anything other than that. They are terrible. Jared Goff, not concerned. He's had 2 weeks to get ready. It's a home game where Sean McVay is going to be telling him what to do against the worst defense in the NFL. Everybody lights these dudes up. Did we see last week how Josh Allen performed? Crushed him, right? Remember something. First 4 games of the season, Buffalo's offense was awesome. So was Josh Allen. Second 4 games of the season, their numbers plummeted. Everyone figured them out. And then they played the Seahawks and they lit them up to shreds. Now, do you think all of a sudden they found that magic on offense in the first month of the season? Or do you think they played this terrible defense that made them look good? Buffalo deserves credit for that win, but Seattle's got a terrible defense. The Rams are going to light them up today. All right? Of all those bets, maybe Seattle wins the game. I don't see it staying under 54.5. Seattle's going to hold the Rams to 20 points? Oh, I forgot a couple keynotes as well. Seattle's down both starting running backs and the starting center, who would be responsible for trying to block Aaron Donald. Now, how do you feel about this game? Right? You got to remember, too, the Rams defense, Brandon Staley, I think, is the defensive coordinator, who's done a nice job with them. He's also had 2 weeks to prepare for Russell Wilson. Everything sets up here for the Rams. Everything. Golf over 1.5 passing TDs? Probably. Yeah, I would bet that. I think the Rams are going to hang a ton of points here. I don't see them having trouble moving the ball. Now, I don't see Seattle having a ton of problems moving the ball, but I think going up against that Ram defense, they're going to struggle more than the Rams struggle against Seattle. And everyone will say, oh, Seattle's not going to lose 2 in a row. You do realize Seattle's lost 2 of 3, right? And during that time, Russell Wilson's had 7 turnovers. Russ is awesome. Hall of Famer. But the rest of that team is not. They're not. That defense is not there to bail him out. That dude needs to play damn near perfect in order for them to win. If he makes any mistakes, they lose. No one's there to bail him out. Pittsburgh, you can make mistakes and get bailed out. Baltimore, on occasion, you can make mistakes and get bailed out. There are teams that allow that to happen. Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson should form a support group because Murray's going to find out exactly what Wilson's life is like. You got to do it all. And Murray has to overcome an incompetent head coach who has no idea what he's doing with some of his game management and decision-making. So that's where we're at. This is one of the worst defenses in the NFL, and they'll be missing both starting cornerbacks. On offense, you're going to have a backup center who I don't think has played in the game since 16 or 17. And Aaron Donald's going to line up over him. You're without both starting running backs. Russ is incredible. The rest of the team's going to struggle, and we don't even have to lay 3 here. Sean McVay has 2 weeks to get ready for this game. The Rams are going to score, so we're going over 28.5 points scored by the Rams. Rams are going to cover the 2.5. The game's going over the total of 54.5, and Robert Woods over 65.5 receiving yards. 4 picks in the same game. Now, all that being said, if this game is like a 10-7 final or Goff or somebody gets injured on the 3rd play of the game and this whole thing goes to shit, I'm going to be hammered when I come back on this stream for the night session to talk about that Raven. I might just bet everything on the board in the Raven-Patriot game because I love this Rams game. So that's where we're at. The thought of them losing this game. I like this one so much that not only had I bet on it, when I was driving home from Daily Wager, I was going to pull over and stop at a local casino to bet more on it. Do you know why I didn't? Because I love you people. I was going to do this stream. I had to come home, set up the very elaborate studio you see here, wife's clothing, door leading to the bathroom. That's exactly why. I wanted to get home for you people because I love you. So please subscribe to this channel. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers so I can go back to using the iPad and the iPhone and not the computer with this janky setup I got here. Please subscribe. Least you could do. Or don't. It's not going to be the end of the world. I can manage with the computer. All right. More bets. Holy shit. All right. So we got the whole Rams rant out of the way. We got the Buccaneers. Oh, my God. All right. The next 2 are ugly. San Francisco plus 10 against the Saints. If the wife does a guest spot. Yeah. Trust me, she wants nothing to do with this. She doesn't even think this is work. She thinks I'm just up here screwing around. I kind of am. All right. So I'm going to take the 10 with the Niners. I just see this as a value play. So what was the look ahead on this? Saints minus 6.5. So look ahead line is the Saints as a 6.5 point favorite. Niners go out on Thursday night against the Packers in front of the entire world, and they get humiliated, absolutely humiliated by the Packers, right? So what's the thought process? We suffer from recency bias. If you don't know what that is, look that up and study that a little bit. If you're going to gamble, you got to know recency bias. One, so that you can avoid it. Two, so that you can exploit it. And this is a situation where we can exploit it. If you ask anyone what they think of the Niners today, 9 out of 10 people, I'll hit the chat. Even though you know where I'm picking, you can be honest. We're all friends here. Niners, Saints, who wins that game? Who would you bet on? If you had to bet your 401k, where would you bet? I would bet 8 out of 10 would play the Saints, and there's nothing wrong with that. You just watched the Saints on Sunday night throttle Tom Brady and the Buccaneers on the road. Now they're playing at home. Drew Brees has been bankable for a long time. Sean Payton, the Saints, bankable for a long time. The Niners look like trash. And they got destroyed and embarrassed on Thursday Night Football against the Packers. So now everyone's just going to assume the natural reaction from the public is Saints will bury the Niners. Maybe they will. But you go from 6.5 to 10, that's a big adjustment. I'm going to take a shot. I don't like it as much as the Rams game. You're not going to get a 30-minute rant with 8 other ancillary props. But I am going to play the Niners plus 10 today. I see that as a value play. A little bit healthier than they were a couple weeks ago, too, plus 10 days to get ready for this game. And I think it's kind of a flat spot for the Saints. They should win, but I don't see the Saints coming out here and lighting up the board and looking razor sharp. They put it all in last week. They probably had a somewhat lackadaisical week getting ready. So get hurt during warmups. All right. Chargers plus 2 over the Dolphins. I'm going against the Dolphins again. Went against them last week. Lost, obviously. Going against them again. I didn't like this shirt when it started. Must say it's growing on me. This shirt's hot. Like, you can get on board with this thing. I got hot on Thursday night. The flowered shirts are back. This Charger game. So if I bet it, I'm probably going to have to watch it. This game is a heart attack waiting to happen. I am playing the Chargers. So let's work our way through this. The Dolphins are 2-0 with Tua as their starter. They were one of the big storylines this week, right? Tua looks great. They get in this great shootout with Arizona last week. Fun game to watch. I can even admit, even losing money on that game, that was a cool game to watch. But they win the game. They're coming home. They're taking on this Charger team that is just the best in the business when it comes to finding ways to grab a lead and then shit it right into the sewer. Not even use the toilet, just shoot the shit from the bathroom out into the street, through the manhole, into the sewer. That's the Chargers. That's how they play football. So, with all that being said and known, Miami opens as a 3-point favorite and gets bet down to minus 1.5. Anyone want to explain that to me? Anyone who's going to tell me how awful the Chargers are, how great Miami is? Anyone want to explain that one to me? That, you don't need analysis from me. I see that. That's a red alert. And that means I'm probably following that steam. Go inside the box score. We talked about it last week. It happened again against Arizona. The last 2 games that Tua has started, the Dolphins have been outgained by 456 yards. In 2 games in which they've won, they have been outgained by 456 yards. Box score anomaly, playing the Chargers. I do not want to watch that game. I would rather watch that game and not bet on it than bet it and watch it, which is rare because usually you'd want to bet the game to have some action on it if it's not your team or a marquee game. I would rather watch that game without money on it so I could enjoy it because I think it's going to be a very good game. Say what you want about the Chargers. They are always involved in exciting games. Last week it was a walk-off review. Like, who walk-off review? That's like Pac-12 shit. And these guys are out here pulling that stuff every week. Every single week the Chargers are pulling those stunts. So I'm going to have to watch some of that. Is that an afternoon game? Please. I want that to be earlier in the morning. Did I bet any morning games? Oh, come on. Tampa Bay. All right. Okay, I bet Tampa Bay. All right. Focus. Final bet is going to be, and this will be real quick because I've already told you this. Tampa in a 6-point teaser. Leave the other slot open if you can do that. And if you can't, use the Ravens. I don't want to talk about too much because I want to save most of those bets for the night game. No sense in giving you all my night thoughts now with that stream coming up at the conclusion of the last afternoon game, but tease the Buccaneers with the Ravens. I'll fucking say it. I was going to say leave it open. Some people don't know what that is. That's okay. Tampa, Baltimore tease. Baltimore's -7. Tease it down to 1. I'll talk more about that game later. I'll have plenty of props. Still come and support the stream. Subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell everybody. But that's where we're at. So those are the bets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Holy shit. Okay. Holy. Cal, and to recap, Cal -3.5 over UCLA. That game's starting now. And then here's the remainder. Tampa -6 over Carolina. San Francisco +10 against the Saints. Chargers +2 against the Dolphins. Tampa, Baltimore teaser. And then Rams -2.5 over Seattle. Rams, Seahawks over 54.5. Rams team total over 28.5. Robert Woods over 65.5 receiving yards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What did I forget? I told you about the tease. Tampa -6. Tampa, Baltimore teaser. Niners +10. Chargers +2. Cal Bears -3.5. And then the 4 in the Rams game. Rams -2.5. Over Rams, Seahawks. Over Rams team total. Over Robert Woods, 65.5 receiving yards. Whew. Energy is lit today. I told you, if you weren't here at the beginning, I'm in a great mood. Great mood today. We ended the cold streak on Thursday. It's been a fun weekend. The weather is nice. I woke up on the right side of the bed. Everything's going well. Shirt looks good. Hair looks okay. So that's where we're at. Thank you all for coming. Are there any questions? Any questions about any games I didn't cover? Happy to give out some thoughts. Masters in the Twitter feed. I might tweet a little bit about it. I don't know. After this is done, I do a radio hit on ESPN, and then I try to decompress for a little bit. I try to not look at anything for a few minutes and just ease into the morning games. I'm up at 3 a.m. Sunday mornings to get ready for Daily Wager. So you got to take it easy. Cooper Kupp. I mean, you know my thoughts on the Rams. You know my thoughts. I don't know his receptions prop. I don't know his yards, but, if I'm doing anything with that, I'm playing overs. Let's see what else we have here. Use Pittsburgh in a teaser. It's been Cincinnati money showing up. If you wanted me to make a play on that game, yes, I would tease Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh could be a good tease. I think Tampa's a great tease. I think the Ravens are a great tease. I think you could tease the Niners up to 16.5. I think that's okay too. Bills teased up to like 8.5 at Arizona. That one's not bad. The Chargers being at 2, you could tease them up to 8. Although that's a heart attack waiting to happen. Fumble 6 late to lose by 10. Philly Giants, I would play the Giants. The line keeps going up to Philly. They're off the bye. Let me ask you something. What has Philly done that should make me believe I should lay 4.5 with them on the road against anybody, let alone a division rival? Now, granted, they're supposed to be real healthy. Alshon Jeffrey apparently done just cashing checks. He's actually going to play for the check today. We'll see. We'll see. They're supposed to be healthier. I'm not buying into that. For me, that's an emotional hedge game. If you don't know, I'm an Eagles fan. I'll probably bet the Giants so that one way or another I come away with something. Ideally, Eagles by 2. I get the Eagle win, the emotional rush, and I make the money. Actually healthy for the first time this year. Giants, yeah, I would lean to the Giants. I don't love it, but I would lean to the Giants. Pittsburgh in a tease. Miles Sanders. Yeah, him, Alshon Jeffrey, they're all supposed to be back. Tease the other on the games with high wins. I wouldn't mess with that. The value's long gone on that. We started with that at the beginning of this thing. The value's long gone when it comes to that situation. The one game moved 10 points. You'd be better off teasing it down and then playing the over. Like, those are the things you got to jump on early in the week, and that's tough. You got to do the research on it, but I would not be messing around with teases in the win games. Beat the Cowboys. LOL, good way to look at it. Browns versus Houston. Yikes. probably a Nick Chubb rushing prop. So I'm not thrilled with that game. The wind is going to be a factor in the passing game, so I don't know if we see a ton of points. Browns are off the bye. Do we trust them to cover the 4.5, whatever it is? That's a problem. Houston ranks 32nd in run defense. Nick Chubb's healthy. Kevin Stefanski wants to run the ball. If they're able to run the ball today, they can control the clock. They can control tempo, field position. I would like the Browns. I know there's some smarter guys that are playing Houston in that game. I've seen that. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I can't give you good advice. I can tell you some smart guys played Houston. I think some smart guys played the Browns too. I think that's split. Maybe a Nick Chubb over prop would be the way to go. That's what I'd be looking at. Even if Houston tries to stack the box, their run defense stinks. All right, looks like it's the end of the questions. Good stuff. That was 36 minutes straight through. No problem. I could do this like 2 hours. Give me some coffee. Thanks for coming. You guys are the best. I appreciate you listening to the rants. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the stream. It'd be a huge help. If I can get to 1,000, I can stop using the PC. YouTube's voodoo rules, and I can start using a phone or an iPad and go back to the way I used to stream, which would make life easier because I wouldn't have all these wires everywhere. So that's my plea to you. That's my plea to get a subscription. Not because it's going to be great content or you're going to get a prize. It's because I need you to do it so it can make my life easier. Honesty, right? It's not some bullshit commercial or some bait and switch you might get for the holidays at some department store. Honest. I would like your subscription to make my life easier. Honesty. Reward me. Or don't. I'm just kidding around. Yes. Thank you all for watching. So I'll be back this afternoon. Whenever the last afternoon game ends, we go live like immediately. Immediately. If for some reason we get jammed up and there's some overtime game that's pressing us close, I might come on a little bit earlier. Remember, this lives on as a video, so you can rewatch it, I think. But I would just shorten the stream and I would get right to the picks. You should be a stand-up comic. You're funny. Yeah. I've actually toyed with that. I would like to get on stage and try that one time just because I have such appreciation for stand-up comedians. I think they are what they do. Imagine being able to be good at that. The presence, the ability to tell the story, the command, the confidence. You got to make people laugh. You got to deal with hecklers. I think there's something to that. The people who do that, man, you should study them. They have a skill. That's it. We're done. Thanks, everyone. Go Rams. Oh, my God. If that game doesn't work out, I'm going to come on here for your... Yeah. Bye-bye.